Gold is an inflation hedge. That is the most expensive sentence in finance. It gets repeated at every dinner table, in every crisis, by every uncle who lived through the 70s. And believing it carries a price tag, a real one, in dollars, with 6 zeros on the end. By the end of this video, you'll see that number down to the dollar. You were taught that gold is where wealth goes to be safe. 5,000 years of history. Pharaohs, empires, central banks. And across all of it, gold has protected fortunes, and created almost none. That distinction, protecting versus creating, is the entire video. Now I know this sounds like an attack on the one asset your family actually trusts, so I won't ask you to trust me instead. I'll only ask you to watch the math before you decide. Because gold's real problem isn't the S&P. It isn't the dollar. The one number gold has never beaten is its own definition. And one of the numbers you're about to see took 45 years to surface. Every asset you own answers to one metric: what it earns after inflation. Not the sticker price, not the chart in the news. The real return, what's left once the dollar's decay takes its cut. Over 2 centuries of American market data, stocks have earned 6.9% a year after inflation. Gold has earned 0.6. And that 0.6 is not a failure. It's the design. A hedge is an asset that moves with inflation. That is the job description. But read that job description again, slowly. An asset built to match inflation can never outrun it. Matching is its ceiling. So when someone calls gold an inflation hedge, they aren't praising it. They're reading you its speed limit. Everything you're about to watch is that one sentence, compounding for 46 years. January 21st, 1980. A Monday. Inflation is running at nearly 14%, the worst in living American memory. 52 Americans are being held hostage in Tehran. Soviet tanks rolled into Afghanistan 3 weeks earlier. Every headline agrees on one thing: the system is breaking. 2 co-workers at the same Ohio plant, Ray and Tom, same age, 32, same salary, same house on the same street. Each one has $10,000 saved, and on this exact Monday, each one walks into a different office to protect it. Ray drives to a coin dealer. There's a line out the door. Gold hit $850 an ounce that morning, an all-time record, and Ray pays it gladly. He walks out with 11.76 ounces, real metal, in his hands. When the world burns, he thinks, this is what survives. Tom does something that, in 1980, looks certifiably insane. He puts his $10,000 into the stock market, the same market a famous magazine cover had just pronounced dead. The death of equities. His coworkers laugh at him in the break room. Identical men, identical money, identical fear. One variable. Ray has just started a 45-year wait. He doesn't know that yet. Fast forward to today. Gold trades at about $4,022 an ounce. Ray's 11.76 ounces are worth $47,318, nearly 5 times his money. At the family barbecue, Ray sounds like a genius. Now adjust it for reality. $10,000 in January 1980 bought what 41,800 buys today. That's the same basket of groceries, the same truck, the same year of rent. So Ray's 46 years of conviction produced this: $47,318 of gold against $41,800 of vanished purchasing power. His fortress compounded at 0.27% per year. Not 27%, 0.27. And the road there was crueler than the destination. Gold collapsed after that January peak. It did not touch $850 again until January 2008. Ray waited 28 years just to see his purchase price on a screen, and that was only the sticker number. Adjusted for inflation, gold didn't break even until September 2025. 45 years. No headline announced it. The break-even arrived in silence, and Ray was 77 years old. Now Tom. Same 46 years, same starting 10,000. The S&P 500, with every dividend reinvested, returned 12.23% a year, 8.88% after inflation. Tom's account today, $2,138,291. Even measured in 1980 purchasing power, over $500,000. Subtract Ray from Tom, $2,090,973. There is your price tag, $2.1 million. That is what gold as an inflation hedge cost the man who believed it. And the strangest part is what you already suspect. The sentence never lied to him. Gold did exactly what it promised. Which raises the only question that matters. Why can't it do more? Here's what makes Ray's 45 years so cruel. He got hope twice, and the market took it back both times. Rewind to the year 2000. 20 years in, a full working career already spent. Ray checks a newspaper and his stomach drops. Gold is trading near $280 an ounce. His metal, the thing that was supposed to survive the end of the world, is worth less than a third of what he paid. 20 years of holding, and he's down 2/3 on paper. That same morning, Tom's 10,000 had quietly become roughly 190,000. Neither man is retired yet. Only one is afraid to. Then comes the second dawn. 2011. Gold rockets to $1,900 an ounce, and Ray finally feels vindicated. 31 years late, but vindicated. Every headline screams that gold is king again. What Ray doesn't do is the one thing that would have saved him: sell. Because gold, remember, has no engine. The only way to win with it is to correctly time the exact moment of peak fear and hand it to someone else. Ray held, and gold slid again for years. 2 false dawns in one lifetime. That is not an investment. That is a hostage negotiation with your own money. The answer fits in one sentence. Gold has no engine. An ounce of gold in 1802 is still exactly 1 ounce today. In 200 years, it has produced nothing. No rent, no interest, no dividend. Not once, not ever. Its price moves for one reason only. Someone else agrees to pay more. Gold doesn't grow. It sits there, waiting for someone more afraid than you. A share of the S&P 500 is a different species. You own a slice of 500 businesses. They fix their own machines, replace their own roofs, cover their own decay, all before a single dollar of profit is reported. Then the profit splits in two. Part reinvests into the business, and part arrives as a dividend that quietly buys you more shares. More shares produce more profit, which buys more shares. That loop is the engine, and it runs whether you're watching or not. Picture an orchard, and next to it, a statue of an orchard, carved in solid gold. Some years, the statue is worth more. Scared years. But every autumn, the orchard hands you apples, and you plant the seeds. Give it 50 years, and one hill is a forest. The other is still a statue. 2 centuries of data say exactly this. $1 in American stocks in 1802 is $2.3 million of today's purchasing power. $1 in gold is about $4. Not 4 million. 4. And for Ray, it's actually worse than zero engine, because nobody guards a statue for free. There's a deeper trap hiding inside gold's price chart, and almost nobody names it. Gold's biggest gains don't arrive randomly. They cluster in the exact moments the world feels like it's ending. 1979, 2008, 2020. Which sounds like a feature until you realize what it demands of you. To make real money in gold, you have to buy when everyone is panicking, and then sell into that same panic before it fades. You have to be greedy at the peak of fear and disciplined at the peak of relief. That is the opposite of how human beings are wired, and it's the opposite of how gold is sold to you, because gold marketing turns up precisely when fear is highest and prices are worst. Ray is proof. He bought on the single most frightened morning of the century, paid the most frightened price, and then held through every calm decade that followed. The decades when gold does nothing but charge you rent. He ran the fear engine perfectly backwards, bought high on terror, held through boredom, never sold the spikes. The orchard asks none of this. You don't time an orchard. You plant it, you ignore it, and it feeds you through booms, busts, and every panic in between. One asset rewards patience, the other punishes it, and then bills you for storage while it does. Owning gold isn't free. That surprises people, because the metal just sits there. But sitting, it turns out, is a service you pay for. Buy the popular gold ETF, and the fund charges 0.40% a year, every year, in any market. Hold physical coins instead, and a vault plus insurance runs 0.5% to a full percent annually. Either way, you're paying rent on an asset that pays you nothing. Small percentages, right? Now adjust it for reality. Take $100,000 in that ETF for 30 years. The fees, and what those fees would have earned had they stayed invested, add up to roughly $38,700. More than a third of the original stake. Gone. Not to a crash, not to a bad decision. To storage. And when you finally sell, the tax code delivers the last insult. The IRS classifies physical gold as a collectible, the same category as baseball cards and antique furniture, taxed at up to 28%. Long-term stock gains top out at 20%. So the metal doesn't just refuse to grow. You pay its rent, you ensure its sleep, and when you say goodbye, it hands the government a bigger cut than stocks ever would. which is exactly where I'd be lying to you if I stopped here. Everything I've shown you is true. It is also the worst possible case, and you deserve to see where this argument bends. Ray bought at the exact top of a mania, on the single most expensive morning in gold's history. A buyer who bought a decade earlier, before the panic, tells a very different story. Timing didn't change what gold is, it changed what Ray paid for it. Give that earlier buyer his due, in real numbers. Someone who bought gold around $35 an ounce in 1970, before the mania, when almost nobody wanted it, rode it to that same $850 peak. That's a 24-fold gain in a decade, and it genuinely outran stocks over those years. Gold can win. It wins for the person who buys it when it's hated and boring, and sells it when it's loved and terrifying. The problem is that almost no one does that, because the entire emotional pull of gold works in the wrong direction. It feels safest to buy exactly when it's most expensive. And there are stretches where the statue humiliates the orchard. From 2000 through 2009, the dot-com wreck, then the financial crisis, the S&P 500 lost roughly 9% in total. A full decade, underwater. Gold, over those same 10 years, up around 280%. If that was your retirement decade, gold wasn't a mistake. It was a lifeboat. That's not ancient history either. Gold is up about 17% in the last 12 months, and the world's central banks, the institutions that print the currencies you're hedging against, have been buying it by the ton. They are not fools. And here's the fair concession most gold critics skip. Over Ray's 46 years, gold did not destroy his wealth. It preserved it. He ended with the same purchasing power he started with, plus a rounding error. In a genuine currency collapse, the nightmare gold is actually built for, kept exactly what I had, can be the difference between fine and ruined. That is a real service. So no, the conclusion is not gold is worthless. Gold is insurance, real insurance, against the years when everything else fails at once. And plenty of serious investors hold 5 to 10% of a portfolio for exactly that reason. But insurance is not an engine. Confuse the two, and you don't lose your money, you lose your decades. So take one habit out of this video, and it works on every asset you'll ever touch, not just gold. Before you buy anything, ask one question. Does this thing pay me, or do I pay it? An orchard pays you. Dividends, rent, interest, something. A statue charges you. Storage, insurance, tax, and the silent cost of a dividend that never comes. Own statues if you want protection. Just never mistake the statue for the harvest. Here's the same math on a normal life. Not $10,000 once, $500 a month, the way real people save. Do that for 40 years at gold's real rate, and you'd end with about $271,000. Do it at the market's real rate, and you'd end with $1,240,000. Nearly $1 million of difference. Same paycheck, same discipline, same 40 years. The only variable is whether your money had an engine. So here's the price tag I promised you. $2.1 million. The gap between Ray and Tom. The compounded distance between 0.6% real and 6.9% real over a single lifetime. Gold didn't fail Ray. It did exactly what a hedge does. It matched inflation, and it stopped. The sentence was never a lie. It was a ceiling. And the moment you read the word hedge as the word ceiling, you know precisely which shelf gold belongs on. And it is not the shelf your future is sitting on. That question, does it pay me or do I pay it, is the whole game. So we built you the tool that answers it automatically. Inside the vault, there's a real return calculator. Drop in any asset and it strips out inflation, fees, and taxes to show you the number that actually survives. The orchard number, not the sticker number. The link is in the description. But whether you ever open the vault or not, take the habit with you. Run every asset through that one question. If this changed how you see the thing in the safe, hit like so it reaches the next person still paying rent on a statue. And subscribe. Because next time, we put a house and a paid-off mortgage through the very same test.